Hey everyone, it's Krista Norris here from Shape Your World for this week's Sunday Sermon. Sunday Sermon from my heart to yours. I hope you're having a lovely weekend by the time you see this. I'm recording it a little bit early so I can get it to you. I'm currently in southwestern France, really beautiful area. You can see behind me bits of the home that I'm staying in right now, and some of the garden. I'll show you a couple of the dogs. Hey, Tula. Good girl. Hi. And there's Dino. Hi, Dino. Good boy. Hi. And, yeah, we've just had a lovely day outside. We went for a walk where this home is. It's really remote. Used to be a thriving community back in, say, the 30s and 40s. And then, like a lot of places in sort of the countryside of France, during the Second World War, when the Germans came in, a lot changed and people left. Not just then, but also around then, to go to work in the cities and things like that. So this beautiful place, I'll show you. You can see some of the buildings in the background. And yeah, so anyway, areas like this were left, for lack of a better way to put it. And so the family who are here now, they're from England, and they came quite a few years ago, and yeah, this is where I am. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I'll show you. Here's one of the cats. Here's Izzy. She likes to hang out. So anyway, I am sharing with you this week some of the insights, some of the things I've been realizing, things that have been coming to me, and one of them, really beautifully, has to do with welcoming in love. Welcoming in love, and what does that mean in a practical basis, on a tangible basis, very step by step. What does it actually mean? Welcoming in love means opening yourself up, opening your heart, and opening yourself to possibility and to all the gifts and the incredible wonderment of this planet in this lifetime and this earth that we are each here on and in. It also means opening your heart to possibility. Now, sometimes there can be places within each of us that feel a bit afraid, that aren't sure about if it's safe to welcome ourselves in, to open ourselves to love and to welcome in love. There can be aspects of us afraid of what that means. Again, on a practical, tangible basis, how will it feel? What might it change in our lives? What might it change for us? What will it mean if we open ourselves to love, and if we no longer, for instance, give ourselves excuses or reasons for things like abundance or, our dreams, our projects, our relationships, our health, our diet, anything else about our lives, to no longer go the way that they have been going, but instead to open ourselves up to the possibility and the very real reality with that possibility that we will, have all these things we've been thinking of and thinking about. What will that mean for us? If we no longer have our worries, our fears, obstacles getting in the way. And sometimes that can be scary. Sometimes that can feel frightening for the deeper parts of us, for those beautiful, tender parts of us that perhaps have been hurt in the past, that remember painful experiences, remember disappointment, remember things that didn't go quite so well, and maybe we feel like it's a failure of ours, when in reality there is no failure. There's only feedback and opportunities to learn and to figure out what does work instead. But very often, and it's quite common that these deeper parts of us that can feel afraid of us actually succeeding and things going well, and no longer having, the stories we've been telling ourselves, or that they have been brought on to help us with, when we no longer have these stories as evidence for why things are going wrong, or why we're not proceeding in the way that we would like to. When we no longer have the stories, when we open ourselves up to love and we open our hearts to love, it can sometimes feel concerning, and it can leave parts of us feeling afraid. So what do we do? What do we do? Well, one of the key things I have learned over the years is to have compassion. A lot of beautiful compassion for myself and my journey, and it's something that I help my clients with all the time. And and realizing as well that it's okay to have support. It's okay to receive support. We don't need to do everything on our own. For a long time, I had a lot of difficulty in really accepting help, in asking for help, in opening myself up to love. I had an experience about a week ago now where someone who I stayed with reminded me of some of these deeper, tender parts of myself. And this is someone who, a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend I stayed with for only one evening. And I wasn't prepared for his kindness, the compliments. He was very, very upfront, comes from a different culture than me, and very direct, very direct. And said, look, these are all the things that I think are so amazing about you, and this is why. And it really took me back. And there was a real beautiful, tender part of me that wasn't prepared for that amount of love, in terms of appreciation, in terms of kindness, in terms of him saying, look, I think you're incredible. An incredible person, and this is why. I wasn't prepared for that. My deeper parts didn't know what to do with that amount of kindness and very direct compliment, from somewhere I wasn't expecting it. It's very interesting how that kindness can sometimes trigger our deeper parts, our deeper, beautiful, deeper selves. And for me, what I've realized is it's an opportunity to further open my heart and to further open myself to love in all its aspects, because love is not just romantic love. It's also kindness from others. It's happier relationships. It's nature. It's a beautiful garden. It's success in our projects and our journeys. It's better health, physical health, well-being. It's treating ourselves well, treating ourselves to something we've always wanted to have. These earrings I have, these are new, and I'm going through a process of, not all the time, but little by little, allowing myself to have these nice things that I know light me up and make me happy. And it's something I started many years ago. I did that particular exercise in another space in my life, and it's really beautiful to find myself returning to that and remembering, what, that was really nice. That was really nice. I deserve a treat. I deserve a treat right now. Why not? Why not show love to myself as well? So that's another way we can open ourselves up to love. And so with this friend of a friend of the friend and his kindness and just very direct, look, I think you're a great person. This is why. it was really interesting how a deeper part of me, because I wasn't expecting it, because it came from someone who I really didn't expect that from, some of my deeper parts didn't know what to do with that. And I had a bit of a space of discomfort, of not knowing how to handle the compliments. And, I accepted them gracefully. But it was interesting because there came a point where a part of me felt, I don't know. And it started to help, how do I say this? It started to get to a very soft spot within me that I realize is another beautiful layer for me to look at. How do I accept love in all ways, in all forms? Even people who have been at this for years and years and years will tell you, even people who, are seen as experts will tell you, we all have our own layers, and we all have these beautiful opportunities where we are given the chance to open ourselves up to love and open ourselves up to the opportunity and the experience of love, and to really be able to look at, okay, what does that mean? What does that mean when I open myself up? And you watching this video right now, you may be thinking to yourself, okay, how can I open myself up to love? And what does that mean on a practical, tangible basis? When we block ourselves from love, that is when what feels like failure may happen. That is when we experience things that we don't want. That is when projects or dreams, our goals don't go in the directions that we would like them to be. That is when things like arguments are far more likely to take place. Things like disappointment are far more likely to occur. When we close ourselves off from love, we close ourselves off from the opportunity, as well as the abundance, the gifts, the presents that this universe, this world, this beautiful life have in store for each of us. All we need do is ask. And all we need do is open ourselves up and to really be able to think about and to look at, what does that mean for us? So what does it mean for each of you watching this video now? When I say open yourself up to love, what's the very first thing that comes to your mind? That's a really beautiful and great place to start, and to begin looking at all of this, because your inner selves, your inner beauty, your inner truth, your soul will know immediately what is an area that you could begin looking at for you to open yourself up to love, your world up to love. And again, love includes the romantic kind that most of us think about, but it's so much more than that as well. The possibilities truly are endless for each of us. And there's a real gift that comes when we allow ourselves to experience the feeling of love, to experience situations and opportunities and to welcome them, not bat them away, even if they come from places or spaces that we're not accustomed to, and maybe leave a few deeper parts feeling a little bit unsure. There's a real beauty in just sitting with that and allowing ourselves to feel with that love and appreciation and abundance and happiness and kindness, what it feels like in our bodies to experience these things. And if they bring up past memories, to look at those past memories. If they bring up any fears or discomfort, to be very gentle, have compassion, and look at why and what does that discomfort mean? Where is it coming from? What's it about? What is it about? And if there's a bit of healing that needs to take place so that you can be able to welcome in and accept that love in all of its beautiful forms more, well, there's an opportunity for you with that as well. And to realize that it's okay to receive support. It's okay to welcome in that form of love as well. So I hope this is giving you some beautiful food for thought. And I just want to close this and end just for this week of our beautiful Sunday sermon with something it's such a magical week, such a magical life, world, all the time. And something that happened to me just a couple days ago, and some of you may have heard about this on my personal Facebook page. I made a quick little video about it because I felt guided to. And whether you heard about it last time or not, I'll share it again here because it feels like there's a real gift in that as well. And so there was a big mix-up when I was due to arrive where I am now. Where I am now, this is my third time in this area. So normally there's another station that the husband of the couple would pick me up from. And it's a bigger city, bigger town, loads of Wi-Fi hotspots so that I could keep in contact, and so forth, because we connect by Skype mainly, as well as Facebook. And I'm still not completely sure why. It must have been his schedule that day. But he asked if I could make sure I arrived at a different station, which was much, much, much smaller, closer to where we are now, but without those big city amenities, didn't have loads of Wi-Fi hotspots. I finally found one, but I needed some sort of password and a sign up, and I thought, I'm not signed up to this, so I don't, won't work for me. But things like that. And so anyway, the train was delayed. There was no hotspot or anything like that for me to be able to get in contact with him, to let him know. And then, finally we were coming up to the station, and I have quite a few things. Well, it's not that many, actually. I have a backpack, a shoulder bag, and quite a large suitcase. And because I wasn't expecting the station to be right there, I wasn't as prepared as I normally am, waiting for the doors to open. So anyway, I was about to finally exit the carriage of the train with my big suitcase and everything, and the doors started closing. And I thought, no. And I started pressing the button, because normally when you do that, the doors will open again. But they didn't. And I thought, oh no. And so they shut on me. And I went up to the very front of the train and asked the conductors what to do. One of them spoke English, because I'm learning French, but not, I'm still learning. So I to express what had happened was easier for me in English. So I spoke to one of them, and then I heard the other one say, une heure, so 1 hour, meaning you're going to have to wait 1 hour. But they were kind, and they said, sit, wait on the train. We'll have to go to the end of the line and then wait for the train to come back the other way. And, and meanwhile, I still couldn't get Wi-Fi access to let the husband know. It was just like, oh man. So when I finally got there, it was 2 hours later, and of course he was gone. And I ended up meeting this beautiful, amazing older woman, I think in her 50s or 60s, and she happened to speak English well, which I was very grateful for also. And she said, you know what, wait with me. I have a friend coming to visit me from Paris. You can come use the Wi-Fi at my house computer, and we'll look up his phone number and call him there. So grateful, so grateful. And, by then, what had happened is, because of the confusion, the husband thought, oh, well, maybe she's coming tomorrow or whatever, instead of today. And he was actually at a friend's and had a little bit of wine by then, and, no state to drive. And I was fully planning on getting a hotel room or, something nearby. And I said that to the woman, and she insisted. She said, "No, no, 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 no. You'll stay with me. I have a big house." And so kind of her. And so I ended up staying there. And she and her friend went out and had their evening together because they were catching up. And the woman whose home it was, before they went out to dinner, showed me a local pizza place and, said, take your pizza, go relax in the room, and, sleep comfortably. And it was such a gift. And see, moments before I saw her, when I didn't know what to do, when I was at the station and it was starting to rain and like all this other stuff as well, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I was someplace I had no idea where things were. I said a little prayer, and I closed my eyes. I took a breath. I spoke to my spirit team, and I said, "Please help me. Please help me, because I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Please help me." And I'm not kidding. It was maybe 20 seconds, maybe a minute later, she was there. And, and that's a really beautiful example of what can happen when we open ourselves up, not only to love and to the miracle of love and welcoming in, opening ourselves up to welcoming in whatever it is we need at any given moment in time, but also what can happen when we open ourselves up to the possibilities and we open ourselves up to the universe coming back to us and helping us in the way that best benefits us and will most help us, and it can often be, not always, but often in ways that there's no way we could have guessed it. I had no idea what was coming. I was in the middle of nowhere. And this woman appeared like, an earth angel. It was so beautiful, so magical. So not only do I encourage each of you watching this to begin to ask yourselves, what are the places and spaces where perhaps you could be welcoming in love more into your life, into your world? And if you would like a bit of help with that or support, then to be able to look at those things as well. But in addition, I also just want to share with you that, miracles do happen. Miracles happen. The universe is there to help us every step of the way, as is your spirit team and mine. And source, whatever you call the grand creator of us all. And so I hope that this is encouraging for you and that it gives you something, just something beautiful to think about and think about in your world. And what does that mean for you? So I'm wishing each of you a beautiful day, a very happy Sunday, and a beautiful weekend as well. Thank you so much, everyone. And I'm sending you so much love too. Here's to each of us opening ourselves up to love and everything that means in all its forms. Bye.